Wi-Fi seems to be an incredibly well organised project, well geared up. Co-production is absolutely at the heart of everything they do. So they take a real person-centred approach and really listen to the people who've got the lived experience throughout every element of their project. And I think that's so important, key for commissioners, key for employers, so it's really great to see them doing that.
What I learned from today is how valuable our navigator roles are. I always knew that they were very valuable, but a lot of the evidence we're starting to see now is how much impact and how much money they save.
There's a lot of people that's out there working, helping people, more than I ever expected there would be, and people do care and want to help people out.
So I think the key things are sort of some things that I already knew but have been sort of made a little bit more salient. So the key role that peer mentors and lived experience and that sort of role plays within the project, but also the importance of that and how it links in with co-production, and the sort of the 4 key areas, according to Scott, that sort of make up co-production and how they can sort of fit into everything that we do, both as services, as individuals, as communities, and obviously within the Wi-Fi project.
So for me personally, it's just fantastic to see how the project's gone from a seedling all the way up to what it is now, and to see how the co-production especially is working, how the interagencies are working together now, and how it's really coming together to, you know, for the benefit of our beneficiaries, you know, and for the progression of people coming through from experts by experience with lived experience all the way through to getting paid employment and, you know, working, you know, in cohorts with other agencies, and, you know, it's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
What I've learnt from the day is the impact that positive support can have, and kind of the way that Wi-Fi provides those services, and how they're being able to be flexible and varied, and that can have such a huge impact on the beneficiaries and how they can access kind of their recovery.
I learnt lots today, but one thing in particular that is very sort of appropriate for what I do is the way that Mark and his external evaluator team work out the costings for any savings that have been made to public services as a consequence of the Wi-Fi project being in place.
I've literally learnt the fact of that, like Gemma says, there's a lot more people out there that care, and the feedback that you give them to help them continue with their work is absolutely brilliant, because it's not brushed off, it's all welcomed.
Well, the thing I've learnt today is the importance of connecting both at an individual level and at a system and place-based level. And I've found lots and lots of enthusiasm and lots of possibilities when we connect people with each other.
It's really interesting for me from my particular background to see the impact from the activities and to see how that's being measured.
I think the thing that stood out for me the most today has been the power and the sort of importance of experience, both in terms of hearing about the peer mentors, the roles that they've played within the project, seeing the video, hearing from navigators about the role that peer mentors play, but also how that then fed into the co-production, the life chances, sort of the artistic sort of interpretation of that, and just that the power of sharing stories and sharing who we are and how that can really turn people's lives around.
What stood out for me most today was the life experiences, poems and plays that they did. I thought they were really powerful, and the fact that it was someone in their own words.
I think the life experience guys, they were fab. The poetry that they did was really inspirational and definitely very sort of emotional, and made you realise the impact that people's stories can have on changing lives.
What I think will change my practice in terms of when I'm modelling services and stuff is understanding that a service can't do everything, and that a lot of the time what you're doing is you're one step in a long path.
The thing I would change about what I do is to make sure that the experience and lived experience is much more present in the work and meetings that I'm involved in and thinking about DISC's work.
I think what I've heard today that could influence my practice is particularly around the co-production side of things, and how not to kind of use that as a tokenistic word, and to actually work with people in partnership to guide their own support. I really like the way that the outcome stars used alongside the chaos rating, so it's very much a kind of collaborative approach, and that's kind of looked at in equal measure, and I think that that's a really important thing to take forward.
The project that I work for, Women's Lives Leads, we have a really large co-production element, so it's just making sure that we kind of truly embed that, following what Scott Cunningham was saying, kind of not making sure it's tokenistic, sort of really making sure that it is true co-production.
It has made me think a bit more carefully about how we set volunteers to work and what we expect of them, and sort of how structured our approach to it is.
The thing I'm going to take away from today is a commitment to make sure that co-production is the first thing I think about, not the last.
It's going to be very inspirational for what we'll be doing next year, because we're hoping to fund some similar projects with funding from the Department of Health to help people who are underrepresented, hard to reach or vulnerable, to become work ready and move into employment within the adult social care sector. So it's great to see a model that's working so that we can take learning from that and ensure that the best practice spreads throughout the sector.